Hello guys and welcome to an episode of Commander Training. My name is Scoundrel and in this video we'll be covering the differences between GDI and NOD, talking a little bit about their history but also their playstyles. Now this video is brought to you by EA Game Changers and they do sponsor this video, so thank you very much to EA. And without further ado, let's get on. So, GDI and NOD. For those of you that might not have played Command & Conquer games, you might not understand what these two factions represent. GDI stands for the Global Defense Initiative. Think of the GDI as a global superpower. This is your incredibly organized, well-funded, multinational military organization. They have the latest technology, they have the most well-trained troops, and for a pound-for-pound basis, almost no one can match them in terms of firepower. GDI represent stoic military dominance, and they are all about maintaining stability as well as controlling the Tiberium that exists in the world. On reflection, NOD, or rather the Brotherhood of NOD, is a religious movement, almost like a multinational corporation, an underground organization, if you will, a bit like a decentralized nation state, and they are led by Cain. Cain is their leader, and they are almost like a cultic army that worships, or rather sort of follows Tiberium, and as such they use it as a chemical weapon. NOD will never match GDI in pound-for-pound trades in open warfare. So, NOD has always been classically associated with a mixture of low-tech guerrilla warfare as well as advanced, highly advanced weapons that GDI do not have access to. It is two ends of the spectrum, but NOD has always been more closely associated with those hit-and-run style engagements where you look to deal damage, then get out, deal damage and get out. Whereas GDI, often their tactics or their military doctrine has been kind of compared to being more cumbersome and lacking flexibility. And in Command & Conquer Rivals, you'll find the playstyles do fairly accurately represent what these two factions stand for. Now, not all of the units in GDI and NOD are totally different. For instance, if you compare the Riflemen and the Militants, they are exactly the same in terms of stats, and they will do the same job on the field. However, if you compare something like the Rhino to the Buggy, you'll find that the Rhino hits ever so slightly harder, and also has ever so slightly more HP, even at the same level as the Buggy. However, the Buggy is a little bit quicker, and that's the trade-off that you make, and it really is the differences between NOD and GDI. NOD are faster paced, often better at rushing, often better at getting lots of low-cost units onto the field, and looking to just counter very quickly. GDI, a lot of it is about building big defensive structures, having your beefy units on the field, a lot of high-tech units as well that are hard to take down, and look to control the field in that manner. Looking to trade pound for pound on an open field in a straight up fight. I want to show you a NOD game that I had earlier, and I need you to pay particular attention to the way that I use attack bikes, but also Seth's ability to deploy flame troopers anywhere on the field. NOD is all about speed and reaction and trying to find counters on the map where you can. I don't mind sacrificing the top part of my map. I have that Giga Cannon just holding that zone for the time being. So the main thing that I'm trying to do here is deal with the Talons that this GDI player has been putting out all game. And attack bikes are the perfect way to do that. They take them down in a couple of hits and they can catch up to the Talons' movements on the map. And you can see I use the Flame Trooper to distract the Zone Troopers long enough to allow that to happen. And then I find a suitable counter to the Zone Troopers that I'm seeing being thrown onto the field. That suitable counter happens to be the Flame Tanks. Now, Talons are good because they can't get hit by flame tanks, but because I still have these attack bikes ready to go, I can chase these Talons down. And you can see even with the ion cannon, I'm able to kite very quickly out of it. And as soon as I get those attack bikes back onto the fold, there's no way this guy can make the Talon work in his favor. He's trying to kite it around the field, trying to find an opening to get into the contest zones, but it's going to take a long time for him to take down these flame tanks. And in the meantime, I have complete zone control because I've immediately countered the GDI zone troopers, and at this point this guy is so far behind that he can't actually contest the final missile. There's no way these zone troopers are going to survive on the top side of the map, and it's just a very easy way for me to secure the victory. Now, by contrast, I'm going to show you one of my GDI games from today as well, and we'll talk a little bit about how the playstyle differs. GDI is a lot more stationary about establishing zonal control and using your beefy units to trade up, and also making sure that you have counters on hand to be able to keep those units alive. In this game, I have complete control of the top zone, and I'm using Dr. Liang's special ability to make sure that my zone troopers are continuously zoning, get it, pun, the enemy away from my side platform. We are contesting the final missile right now, so it's very important that I maintain this control. He's brought out some sandstorms, but they are not great against my zone troopers. I'll end up cleaning them up very nicely, and you can see at this point, he's actually really far behind in terms of economy, but also in terms of being able to contest on the map. I see that he's starting to pump out Talons. They are not very good against zone troopers, and I end up cleaning them in a couple of shots. I still have Dr. Liang's special ability as well, and with the use of my Wolverines and high-tech units from GDI, I'm able to establish great control versus the enemy, and this puts me in a really solid winning position for this final missile. I also used the positional advantage that I had to make sure that I took out his harvesters, making his economy very strangled. He's only able to pump out these low value units, and they are so difficult to trade up against the things like zone troopers. Watch how I establish a forward point of control with my units to make sure that even if the enemy wants to contest, they have to path round those units to get to the zone. And in the end, I take the win. I hope you enjoyed this commander training talking about the differences between NOD and GDI, and hopefully I'll see you next time.